so it just had hit ahead when we had that big old meeting, driving on our way to Fort Lauderdale into our little stopping stone. When we took, you know, we had that little whole hash out, and I told him this is going to be my last performance and all that. So all this is being done all along. The guy is still acting like her cat is dead along the way, and you know, she's miserable, going crazy, and we start to have an understanding of sorts through that point where it's just like, okay, let's just enjoy each other's company, let's have fun, you know. So now we're in Fort Lauderdale, we're performing, we're doing our medley, everything is so fucking lit, like everything was so lit. We're on this tiny ass stage, but still it's just the whole moment. Like we had a billboard of us, everything, like we was, you know, the centerpiece of the highlighted performance of the night. And while we drove all the way out there, and so everything was cool, you know. Somehow along the way, us driving back, coming from all of this, you know, Jocelyn go her way, she gets on the plane out in Fort Lauderdale. So it's me, Alyssa, and Nikki, and we're having our little, you know, conversations along the way. I kind of tune everything out at this point because now I'm just trying to hurry up and get back home. I've been away for a long time. It's time for me to get back to work and my shit together. But they don't know that. They think I'm broke. I don't have shit. You know, I'm thinking I need to hurry up and get back home. So with all this being said, Alyssa's driving. This is where Alyssa drives herself all the way back to Atlanta or whatever, and Nikki's in the passenger seat. So we're coming up with all these plans for our next big gig we want to do, that we showcase each one of our voices, where we all have a solo song. It was going to be Alyssa's performance, Nikki's performance, Alyssa's performance, and my performance, and Jacqueline's performance, and then we have our full group performance together. So now that we was going to have this auction and all this stuff that I was planning, somewhere along the lines of us driving Alyssa back home, Nikki and Alyssa gets into another altercation. So now they stop speaking, she's irritated, and she's just like not saying nothing the whole time, and I could feel the tension or whatever. Nikki goes back to her little her thing or whatever, because she had an event in Atlanta and she was going to take the plane or whatever, and then I was going to take the bus. And so she's like, girl, please stay, I don't want you to leave the group. That was the last thing that she said. She's like, I know we had our little words in, and she said that I was going to replace you and all this stuff, but I'm really not. Like, you're meant to be in this group, Eleet, and I really don't want this to be your last performance. Could you please stay? So I'm just like, okay, girl, I'll make it work, because we did have a great performance and everything ended very cool outside of whatever the difference that Alyssa and her had. So this whole time, Alyssa's telling me, she's like, girl, I don't think I could do it. Girl, I see exactly what everybody said. Mind you, this is another person saying this. Said, girl, I see exactly what's going on. She make me feel so uncomfortable being in this group. It's just like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm really to my ends point as well. It was just like, yeah, girl. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. At the end of season 2, that made everything blow up to where Nikki made her video talking about all of us going our separate ways. It was partially my fault. And I could be a bigger person about the situation. I could actually own up to it. I popped off. Because she once again went out her way to post unflattering photos of me. But this time it was every single last picture. Had my mouth open. Had this. I looked ghostly up on this picture. And it wasn't like I was trying to take over anything. I'm just like, could you at least just send me the pictures first so I could see before you post it? Maybe I could do something to enhance something, or if I see something looking crazy off on me, maybe I can enhance it or do something, then I'll send it right back to you and you post it. She didn't do that. She just went about her way to post these unflattering pictures of me. And I was like at my ends, because now I'm just like, me and Alyssa's on the phone over, you know, I'm talking about certain things. And at this point, we have our group chat message. So I pops off. I'm like, girl, I'm sick of this shit. Here you go doing this again. And I keep on telling you, it's just like you want to make me look bad. You always want to make me out to look like the bad person. The first season, you defamated my character, talked about my ankle, and there was nothing wrong with my ankle. Why I couldn't come to the event. Like, you just keep on doing this shit to me. It's like, I don't see you doing none of that to them. I don't see you treating them the way how you treat me. You and Alyssa had y'all situations, but then you are so quick to be able to, you know, hash out shit with her and apologize to her and, oh, I'm sorry, Alyssa, and treat her with kindness. But then when it comes to me, it's another thing. So now I feel like you're trying to walk all up over me. Bitch, I'm over it. I'm over your bullshit, bitch. You got me fucked up. I'm tired of this shit, girl. You keep on motherfucking posting shit, making me look bad, doing this, posting this, and doing that motherfucking shit, girl. I'm motherfucking over it. I'm done. That was me. That was all me. I could own it. I could look right here up in this camera and own my shit, because I'm woman enough to be able to say, you know what? Maybe I did overdo that. Maybe I did overstep my boundaries into lashing out, and I should have just been cool about the shit over some fucking photographs and shit, which was very petty. So this whole time I'm just, you know, thinking that, but what's done is done. She goes off on me. She starts making all these threads inside the group chat. I'm over this shit, you ghetto black bitch, and won't this, and this, that, and the third. And then so Alyssa starts to say stuff as well in the comments. She's like, yes, I'm over this as well. And I don't like how I've been treated and how you've been talking about my weight. And so I guess my fuel of blowing up is what made Alyssa's fuel ignite. And she was just like, fuck this, I'm gonna say what I gotta say too. So Alyssa said her little piece, and then it started to seem like, oh, well, y'all got this, y'all feel like this way? Oh, well, fuck this group. I'm gonna just go back to doing my solo career thing. So this is Nikki. Oh, you know what? I tried to do this group, and whoa, here she goes, trying to be this, you know, oh, I'm just gonna go back to doing my solo career, and the group is done. So that's when the end of chapter 2 concludes. Is where you see Nikki Exotika go on The Secret Girls, and she makes this video, and it's called What Happened to the Secret Girls. And so in her video, she's doing just basically what I'm doing now, but she just goes down the line of talking about me, talking about Alyssa, talking about Jasleen, and she's making these little snappy, little snarky comments along the way in her video.
I feel like this. If I would have had a nationwide casting call, and I would have had 100 girls auditioning, or 50 girls auditioning, the only ones that would have made it to the finals, honestly, would have been Raquel and Eleet. But the only one who probably would have made it through would have been Raquel, you know, and other people would have been removed or, you know, outdone because certain issues within things that I will discuss in the book. But I don't want to say too much. All I'm going to say is this. Yeah, so if I would have had more to choose from, it would have been a whole lot better. It would have been more talent. It would have been more, you know, better dancers, or people who were more easier to work with, you know, more appreciative, not complain or I don't like this, I don't like that, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm busy, we'll do it this. Like, I just feel like, and without proper management, this was disaster. You know, I reached out to so many people. We needed management. Nicole can't play manager. You know, I can do but so much. So, you know, I reached out to certain management companies, but, you know, it took too long for them to get involved. And the type of management that we needed was actually someone physically with us, not over a phone. We actually needed someone to snap the whip, keep the girls in check, tell them. Because, you know, when a trans gets told from another trans, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, do this at this time, do this on that time. We have deadlines. Nobody wants to listen to another girl at all. You're like, what, bitch? Like, you don't want to, nobody wants to take constructive criticism. No one wants to be told what to do. No, like, that doesn't happen. Now, if it comes from a male or a female, but someone on the outskirts looking in and their professional management, then it's different. Then they're like, okay, yes, sir. No, sir. Like, it's different, you know? So, me playing manager, yes, it was the worst ever. Worst. That was the biggest mistake of everything. So I can't say, it's just mostly of a lot of things is probably my fault. I should have chose differently. I should have done things differently. I should have never exposed the girls in the group till we worked together. Each, like, recording an album for like at least 6 months. Then released it. But every time I got a new girl and I was so excited, I was like, yes, this is coming together, you know, she's a secret girl, and then their schedules, or they had relationships, or they got sex changes, and then they're like, I can't do it anymore. You know, so it's many different reasons of why other past girls didn't work. I still have great relations with Gia and Raquel and Shayla, and I only really have issues with some members now. I'm not going to say who, but you can learn that in my book as well. So I decided to go solo. You know, a lot of girls say, oh, she wanted to be the star. No, because if I wanted to be the star, I would have never did the Secret Girls. I would have never pushed out to doing the Secret Girls at all. I would have just focused on myself. I would have focused on my music career. That's a flop because, you know, I just would have tried. Secret Girls will be eventually a stage show I will put together in Vegas, and I will cast 4 girls to join me on stage. When I decide that it is strong enough to become a pop group, I will replace the girls or find other girls, and they will become the pop group. Whether it's going to be the stage show girls, I probably will not be part of that because I probably wouldn't be able to handle it again. And I will have somebody take my place and be my lead. And then I would still stay on the stage show in Vegas or something. But definitely it's a project that I would headline. So that is better. A better concept, and nobody gets screwed. You know, I think that's much more smarter. You know, it's much more smarter to do that for a business standpoint. You know, I spoke to many people and they thought that it was the best decision to do that. And that's it. I couldn't keep it together as a pop group, so I wish the girls the best. You know, Eleet, I think, is doing her solo thing, and that's awesome. And Alyssa, I think, still does drag shows, performances in Atlanta. And I don't know what Jasmine does. I think karaoke or something. But so that's basically it.
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I'm not the fucking one. Like, oh, I was like, my head spun around like The Exorcist. I was like, who the F are you talking to?
Right.
She's got you bitch, and this and that, like really nasty. I don't like that mentality. I don't like aggressive behavior. I don't like ratchet ghetto behavior, especially in my car. In my home. I don't like, I like peaceful, I like professional.
Right.
You could talk to me like an adult.
Which makes it like, really? Oh, okay, but you couldn't even keep the real story. She popped off and she's just ghetto, and you know, she always has this to say. She's difficult, and you know, the stuff that I expected her to say. but I wasn't expecting her to take it to social media publicly because none of us did that. We kept our disagreement that we had with her inside of our group chat, and that was how it's supposed to be. She made the whole situation public. So now that's when everyone sees that the group has been dismembered over, I guess, obviously me starting everything and then her just dismembering the whole group officially. So after this is all done, she goes back doing her solo thing. And I start to plan my life as regular, you know, with the Reciprocity Foundation. I had a book coming out and stuff like that. So I go back to my regular life schedule. I'm chilling. I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, I believed in the group. I believed in our journey. I believed that we was really headed somewhere in that pivotal moment when we was doing everything. But I was not expecting for it to blow up and hit the fan like it did. So, you know, with all that being said, I just went back to my normal life. I started getting ready to do my Immortal Music 16 year that was approaching. And so I just had this newfound of like release. It was like, you know what, I tried, I gave it my all. Yes, I did make some mistakes along the way, but it is what it is. I'd rather have my happiness. I'd rather choose peace than to constantly be, you know, mistreated and have my career being dangled up over me every time we get into an argument. Oh, I'm out. And this, that, you know, no resolution to nothing. Everything broadcasted publicly. So I'm just like, I'm done. I'm over it. It is what it is. Tea Time with the Girls, you know, the show that I was telling you that I was a part of, Ashley and Fox Giselle, they really wanted to get our viewpoints because they was really huge supporters of the Secret Girls and where we was going in our journey, and they just seen that we was really making a name for ourselves in the music industry, breaking through. And so they had high hopes of us. So they wanted to know, you know, like, I'm hearing all these stories, like, it's not just you, it's not just Alyssa, it's not just the first girl, it's not just Miyoko, it's not just Kelly. It's so many people that have so many negative things to say about Nikki Exotika. I wonder where all this is coming from. So they did a segment and they had us talk about, you know, little certain things. And how about I just play the clip for you?
I want to just shift gears just for a second here. I was basically, I will take full credit for this. Basically, for some of you that don't know about the Secret Girls, here's an excerpt of the Secret Girls and who they are.
I was a liar, I gave in to the fire. I know I should have fought it, at least I'm being honest. Feel like a failure, cause I'm a little failure. I should have done you better, cause you don't wanna like it. And I know, and I know, and I know she gives you everything, but boy, I couldn't give it to you. Just so pretty, all around the world, Secret Girl. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really want. You wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends.
So you just saw an excerpt of the Secret Girls. Secret Girls was a very short-lived transgender music group that basically were destined to be the first pop transgender pop group.
Featuring one of our ex-castmates, Eleet Lucheonnie. She actually did Tea Time, Tea on the Streets, and basically we sent her off to Secret Girls, and basically she was returned to sender.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of tea with this because you know what, every you know, Nikki Exotika, you know, shout out to her.
Founder.
She was the founder
And the manager.
Yeah.
And the choreographer. She did everything for the group.
She did.
I ain't never returned to sender. No. Brought me to Capital.
But the fact of the matter is there's been a lot of tea because since they broke up, you know, we've had girls, you know, former members that have agreed to do personal interviews, but they've been dropping like flies, you know. And due to legal issues, you know, a lot of girls have been, you know, afraid to talk. So right now, we actually have a girl that we're going to do a video chat with that was a former member of Secret Girls and try to get the tea on what happened. So.
Inspector Gadget.
Listen, we are actually calling Raquel to see. Oh, it ended. Shade. So I made an attempt to call her.
Try one more time.
Try calling her.
Could
one
you
more
block
time.
a number on Skype? Could you block it?
I'm sure you can.
So basically, a lot of girls were scared to basically come forward and talk about it. It's sort of like the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
Where the members who leave the church, they cannot talk about the church.
So, basically the reason why the whole Secret Girls thing didn't work out was because Nicole only cares about herself. She doesn't want to see anyone else prosper further than she can. So it led me to believe that the whole Secret Girls group thing is a gimmick to get her foot in the door in the entertainment industry. As we all know, that's something that she struggles with. So basically, my side of the story is I went out to LA and for the sole purpose of auditioning for the group. And I auditioned. She liked me. And I was put in the group. But she wasted no time to let me know that my position was, it wasn't solidified, because she had already known another black girl who was apparently more, who had the, I don't even remember how she worded it. She basically said that the other girl had her sex change. She had more work done than me, and that she was basically more of the package that she was looking for in comparison to me, because I have very minimal work done. Like, I've only had my breast done, and that's it. So she told me that, well, you know, I like you, you're in the group, but when you, I'm gonna audition my other friend, and, you know, if she kind of gives me more than what you're giving, then I'm gonna pick her instead of you. The thing is that, like, the thing I had an issue with was I had already been to, like, many rehearsals. So I've already put in the footwork, and she's already putting this other girl that has never been to one single rehearsal against me, and saying that if she comes through and she, you know, I don't know, because she said that she couldn't really sing very well, but she was the whole, like, package, looks wise, that she could basically take my spot in the group. So I didn't feel very good about that, you know, and it didn't make me feel like she valued me as a member of the group. And so that was one of the things that kind of made me feel like, okay, there's something about this person that I don't really like, you know, already. And this was, it's already been like a week only since we met, you know, and I'm already feeling a certain way about her. If Nicole is the leader of the group, then she should act like it. But I don't know, like, she likes to boss people around. She likes to make people feel inferior to her. She likes to make people feel like especially in this group, she tried to make me feel like the only way that I was going to get anywhere is through the group. She said, you're never going to get an opportunity like this ever again. And I said, really? Because I've been making music long before I even met you. Like, you've been making music or whatever you've been doing for the past 20 years, and you're still trying to get the ball rolling. I'm just getting started, so don't worry about my opportunities, okay? Because I saw this whole thing as an opportunity as itself. Like, I saw it as an opportunity to say, hey, listen, I'm a transgendered woman. I would love to be a part of a transgender group, to send a message out to anybody out there who is talented and wants to pursue their dreams and doesn't want to resort to you know, sex work and whatever. Like, we're all tempted with that, and a lot of us work in that type of industry. because we feel like that's the only way that we can get somewhere. But I feel like being a part of the Secret Girls was a message to say that we don't have to do that, and we can follow our dreams and become something that we want to become. But the issue is that Nicole doesn't see it that way. I feel like she's using the group as a come up for herself and not necessarily for the rest of us, because she didn't see it for us. She didn't see it for me or Jasleen. You know, she always had something negative to say about the both of us. And you know, like, if you're gonna be a leader of a group, you can't. That's just not the way. It's just not gonna work. So now that, you know, she went and did the whole, you know, she got a whole group together and it didn't work out, I'm really not surprised. Like, I'm really not surprised, because just her attitude is just really difficult to be around. You know, she doesn't make you feel good when you're around her, because she's always got something condescending to something condescending to say, and she has a superiority complex, and it's like her way or the highway. And she feels that, you know, she has an excuse for that type of behavior because Madonna acts that way, and who else, Lady Gaga or whatever. You know, she compares herself to these great musicians and iconic pop stars and whatnot. And I'm just like, but you're not them. You're not Lady Gaga. You are not Madonna. You're not Britney Spears. So you have literally no right to act like that. You have literally no right to feel superior to anybody, because you have not accomplished anything to uphold that superiority. And, you know, I don't know, that's just how I feel about the whole thing. So I'm not surprised that the whole Secret Girls thing didn't work out for a second time. And I guess that's my side of the story. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I really wish that I was actually hoping that it would work out, you know, for the other girls' sake, you know, because I guess we all share the same dream, and that's basically it.
Hi guys, my name is Alyssa Brooks. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a former Secret Girl. When I first joined the group, I was kind of hesitant to bring up the idea of me potentially being a possible replacement for one of the members that had just decided to go her separate way. I didn't realize that the group that I was coming into needed so much work. I didn't realize that the group needed more than management, more than a leader. It needed structure, and it needed a lot of things for it to function properly. And I was not under the impression that the group was in such need of a lot of help. And throughout that time, we fought quite a bit. Our personalities began to clash. Never with Jasleen or Eleet and myself. It was always with the leader of the group. She constantly was hard on us, which she had a good reason to be hard on us, because we, you know, were supposed to be under her watch. And, you know, I understand how one person telling you what to do can become a little tricky. But our biggest issue was not being appreciated and always being torn down. We were constantly given all these underhanded, you know, comments from the leader. We were always being put down indirectly from the leader. There was a lot of times where financial situations came up where the leader at one point was wanting to take 15% from everything, because that's normally what a manager gets. It's 15%. Then the leader wanted 20%, and then 20% turned into 40%. And then eventually, towards the end, the leader was getting 50% of everything that we were making, leaving Jasleen, Eleet, and I to split 50% among us three. You know, a lot of the money situations were not really right. A lot of the things that we were doing were costing a lot of money, which was putting us all in debt. It really was not a good situation for us all to be in. Once the group was broken up is when things started to get really messy on the leader's behalf. Instead of being a professional and instead of being, you know, honest and direct towards the group members, she chose to be malicious and play the victim in this whole situation. She chose to go on social media and pretty much tell everybody that it was our fault that it did not succeed, instead of taking responsibility for your project and your group and your baby. You know, it didn't succeed because of you. I feel like she blamed us for whatever she couldn't do. And that, to me, unfortunately, did not sit well when she started to say comments about me and the other girls. It just didn't sit well with me because we hadn't said anything. We hadn't said anything. You know, I'm not just going back to doing drag shows. I have a lot of stuff that I do on the side. It's not just performing, which is something that I love to do. And about 70% of the trans community are performers. So I didn't understand where these comments were coming from our supposed leader, because we all really did look up to this person, and we chose to trust this person to take us to a certain place that we, you know, didn't feel that we could do on our own. We never stopped working. She chose to abandon us. We never abandoned her. We never gave up on her. And I feel like now, once everything has now gotten to a messy point, I feel that it's very sad to watch something that could have been so amazing crash and burn so hard. And I think the biggest title of them all that she did not do was be a good leader and a good listener. And she chose to name off all these extra things that she was doing, but failed to tell everyone that I was not only first an assistant to the group, I was assisting her. I was making phone calls. I was getting us bookings. I was, you know, doing everything possible to get this group up and going. And in the 3 months that I was in the group, there was a big jump in our fans. So I really don't appreciate the fact that she would go around and pretty much say that none of us did anything, or that we were all lazy, or, you know, that you know, we didn't want to do anything in the group, because we all did a lot in the group. Whether one person did more than the other, we all did a lot. Everything that we did reflects on her, so I could see how it would become stressful for her. But at the end of the situation, and at the end of, you know, the entire blow up and everything, none of it was ever really appreciated, and none of it was ever really acknowledged from her. You know, when none of us felt like we were doing anything right. None of us felt like we were ever good enough or talented enough or encouraged to go further or do more than what we were doing. And that to me is very, very sad. And it took me a while to really get out of that funk of, was I not good enough, or did I not really do what I was supposed to be doing? But I realized that it wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. You know, you have 3 girls that all have one common problem. And these three girls never had a problem with each other. They all had a problem with this one person. And, you know, to me, that speaks for itself. I don't even know how many ex-members of the Secret Girls have left or supposedly had problems with their scheduling or whatever happened, but none of it makes sense to me. That many girls don't just leave a group without there being one common problem. And, you know, that's pretty much all I have to say for that. You know, what it came down to is that Eleet, Jasleen, and myself were all bullied while we were in the group. We all experienced some form of body shaming. Our only thing that we can sit here and own up to is that, yes, we did make comments about our leader being older than we are. We did make comments about our leader being botched and all these things, but you guys have to understand that when you're put in so much pressure with bullying and body shaming, you have no choice but to kind of stand up for yourself and throw that same you know, level of comments back to that person. You know, it was never, we never said these things because we wanted to hurt this person in any way. However, we all did experience forms of bullying and body shaming within the group, which made us feel very insecure at times, whether it was, you know, my issue with weight, or Eleet's issue with her body image, or, you know, Jasleen's dancing. But it never was any kind of encouraging words of wisdom. It was never, you know, it was never constructive criticism. And here we are left behind. And, you know, once I chose to delete this person, and once the group was over, I went back to my normal life. She chose to block all of us and delete the rest of us, and kind of throw us aside like we didn't really matter. You know, we weren't as talented as she wanted anyway, so it doesn't matter. The true, you know, purpose of us making these statements was pretty much just to defend ourselves and to really tell the public that we are not, you know, just these weak girls that would let somebody walk all over us. We are, in fact, very strong and very talented. You know, as far as the future goes, like I said, we never stopped working. Never stopped working. And that's pretty much all I can say on that. As far as my future and where I'm going, I am currently working on a TV show based out of Louisville. And, you know, I'm pursuing my acting career. I'm doing a couple solo stuff with music. And then we have another project that we're working on, and that's that. You know, I said it from the very beginning, if it's not making me money, I don't want to be involved. And this project, in fact, put me in debt. And towards the end, I just didn't want to be involved, you know, not being paid, you know, what I deserved, not being paid what I was being promised. It all got to me, and I'm very glad things happened the way that they did. I'm very glad that things happened the way they did, and that's all that I can say on that. I wish everyone the best. I really hope that everyone makes it in whatever it is that they choose to do. You know, and that's that. One person can doubt me, but my name is not one that you throw down and you instantly think, oh, this person is a bad person, or this person is difficult to work with, this person is a diva. You can drop my name anywhere, and I promise you that will never come out of someone's mouth, unlike our leader, which is another reason why we didn't get ahead as far as we did, because nobody really wanted to work with us. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I wish everyone the best, and I hope that everyone succeeds in everything that they're doing. And aside from that, I just want to say that if we are not friends, please keep my name out of your mouth and we'll be good. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my side of the story, and stay tuned because, like I've said about 3 times now, we never stopped working.
I would take that I was hard to manage, hard to work with, because I felt
Your expectations were
a
high.
wall being put up. I felt their girls were against me at times. I felt like anything I said, it was like, psh, whatever. You know, I felt like when I called times, it was always at their time schedule. And it was a lot of stress for me alone to pull this together. Yes, Alyssa did assist me at times. Yes, she did.
That was my
And
next one.
she did help me. And in the beginning, it started off as help, but then it changed to being more like she was trying to be the leader.
How much money am I getting? How much is it?
It was just starting to be like she started to call the shots and started to have little secret talks with the girls and starting to build her heads up.
Do I see a little pebbles going on?
So, you know, I don't know. It was just a lot. I mean, I really don't want to talk negatively, but I do want people to understand what I went through with each individual girl.
Right.
We got offers to go to China. We got an offer to go to China for 2 months. I'm not going to say which girl. I'm just going to say one of the girls didn't have the proper documents to even travel out of the country. So we couldn't even go. I had to turn that down. Okay? So this with certain situations, you know. If you call bullying telling somebody to stop eating chips and stop eating the chips, eat healthier, don't eat late at night, don't eat past 3 o'clock, whatever, because you're gonna turn into a gremlin. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, do you know, just
Girl, I'm a gremlin, honey.
you know what I mean? Just have a better diet, and don't bitch and complain and whine about every little thing.
You know what I call that? Constructive criticism.
Constructive, but they don't see it as that. I'm bullying them. You know what I mean? And body shame, I would never call anybody fat. Let me tell you something. I have scars up my leg from silicone removal, from bad silicone removal. Do you think I have the nerves to call anyone? I have a scar, here, a scar on my nose from, look. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. I know they're bitter. I understand how they're feeling because we did so much work and then I just took it apart and dismantled it.
Right.
But if I was such a bad person, why didn't they walk out a long time ago? Think about that one.
Right.
So, as you can see, 3 of us, we had our own viewpoints of Nikki and, things that transpired to where it ended up at, to where we all had to go our separate ways. We're just living our lives, doing our thing, getting over it, moving forward. And so Alyssa's like, hey girl, this was really my dream as well. Like, I never wanted to stop working, and I feel the same way. I'm like, I never wanted us to stop working. Yes, we had our little issue, but I didn't think it was going to transpire to that point or whatever. I thought that she would, get over it and we would work it out and just, go back to normal. Yes, I was pissed. I made some mistakes, but I didn't think it would take toll like that. So we was just vibing like that. She's like, you know what? I've been thinking about some things. And now that Jasleen is not a part of it anyway, how about I've been talking to her and she said she's willing to come out here to Atlanta and me, you, and her, we could pick up where we left off on and we could start our own trio. So I'm like, so against it at this point. I'm like, girl, I don't know. I'm just really over the whole girl group thing. I don't want no problems with nobody. I don't want no drama or none of that and stuff like that. She's like, girl, it's not going to be nothing like that. We're just going to be making it an occasional thing. Just, just so we can make sure that we keep working and doing our own thing. It won't be a big burden. And so she talked me into it. I was excited for it. I'm like, okay, so now I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, okay, my dream is not over now. I have something else to look forward to. I go on my way to get another plane ticket this time. I made sure I had a plane ticket there and a plane ticket back, so I won't have to worry about no bus or no shit like that. So I was like, you know what? I believe in Alyssa. I know she's not going to be trying to treat me like Nikki was treating me. And I vibe with Jasleen. And if, you know, Nikki's not a part of it, I don't see why we can't make it and why it can't be great. So, I get to Atlanta. Long story short, she tells me Jasleen changes her mind. Jasleen decided to stick with Nikki Exotika, just like I said she would. I was very skeptical. I was like, Alyssa, it's not gonna work. Girl, at first when I was like, girl, she's always gonna be loyal to Nikki. She's not gonna do it. I don't know what she's like. She said she'll do it. She'll beat up with us women. So I'm like, oh, okay. When I get to Atlanta, Alyssa's telling me Jasleen's not gonna be doing it. Jasleen's not going to be in the group. So now this is where the discouragement starts to come apart up on Alyssa, and to make her not want to do the whole group again. But now that I've already worked myself up to thinking we're going to do it, I'm like, you know what? Forget it. Forget Jasleen. Let's just be a duo group. Me and you, Alyssa. Let's just do our own thing or whatever, and we can make it happen. We did 2 songs. We did a song called Surrender, and we recorded a song called Like Your Chick. Yeah, so we did those songs, and we're just thinking, like, maybe we could just be a duo type of group or whatever. And then along the trip of the few days that I was there before I left, she's like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just deciding now. We'll still put out our music and we'll still do our things, but let's just, you know, go back to doing our own things or whatever, and I'll go back to doing my solo thing as well. And I guess it's discouraged her because she just had this outlook that it will be us 3, and it's just like we survived the storm, we came in, but she didn't want to, I guess, come out like that. And with doing a 2-person, which was understandable, I was a little blown from it, I'm not gonna lie, but I understood it because, you know, how we gonna go from doing a 4-person group to doing a 3-person group to then doing a duo group? But we still put out our music, and it was just featuring like both of us. So we just came up with, you know, let's just go back to our regular, you know, do our own thing. And it was just, you know, we still vibe, still call each other, still talk to each other and all the shit. So at this point, I guess Jasleen has went back to Nikki. It was like, oh, I was supposed to meet them, but I didn't, and I changed my mind on them. So Nikki already knew the foreplan of what's supposed to be done, and then she realized that we was not going to do a group. So 2 months later had passed, and I'm just already back into my normal zone. I'm without a care. I'm not tripping off no group. You know, I'm doing my music. You know, each month, every month, I'm putting the song out on the 16th. You know, life is great. And so the show Star comes out, and it's season 1, and I was so bitter. I didn't even want to watch it at first because all it did was just remind me of how I was in a group, you know, how we was doing our thing, how we was really, you know, making it somewhere. So now I have to see this fucking TV show about girl groups. But I swallowed my pride, and I watched it anyway, even though I was a little bitter. At this point, I'm just like at peaceful life. I'm living my life. I'm just chilling. I'm like, it is what it is. I lived it. We had fun. It was cool while it lasted. It is what it is. So, throughout the year of my Immortal Music 16, where I was posting music every 16th of each month in 2016, I start to receive some messages from Jasleen. She's saying, you know, Nikki wants to make up with you and all this stuff, and sorry with everything that happened. I hope that you come back, and we miss you and stuff like that. And she wants to, you know, Nikki just wants to apologize to you and all this stuff. And so I just kind of like paid the dust because I haven't talked to Jasleen, so I'm just thinking it's on some fake ass shit. Like, girl, you don't ever call me. Only thing when it comes to it's something like this that regards you. So I was just kind of like paying. I was like, girl, I'm not for it. I'm not really feeling coming back to the group. I appreciate it, but thank you. And you know, I'm just trying to move forward with my life. So the first time I declined or whatever, and then around a couple of days later, Alyssa reaches out to me and she calls me. She's like, girl, Nikki called me and all this stuff, apologizing and stuff about her interviews and apologizing about everything that happened and she just hoped that everything could work back out and we could come back to the group. And she really, really wants me to come back. But girl, I'm not coming back to the group. I already made my decision and I'm not coming. This is what Alyssa's telling me. She's like, I'm doing my solo thing and I wish you girls the best. If you decide to go back, Eleet, that's up to you. And I was just at the moment, I was like, I'm not going to go back unless Alyssa comes back with me. Because I was just already feeling cornered in a lot of ways. And with Alyssa being in the group, I never felt that type of energy. I always was able to maintain a somewhat, you know, civilized environment when it was, you know, her buddying with Jocelyn and hee ha ha, and then I had my buddy, which was Alyssa, where we hee ha ha between us, you know, regardless of the situation. So I was already feeling like if I go back by myself, it's gonna be the same thing it was when I first joined, when it was her, me, Jocelyn, and Raquel. But at this point, I'm just like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do it because Alyssa was saying no. So I was just really just not feeling it. And then I just started seeing Damn Star again on television. And it just started bringing back so many memories of what our girl group could have possibly been if, you know, we just didn't have our petty ass drama and stuff like that. So I give it a lot of thought. And Alyssa is telling me, no, it's going to be the same situation. I just can't deal with that. And she's on to her move on, which I should have continued to. But in chapter 3, I return. But Raquel comes back this time. Nikki is calling me right after a few hours of talking to Alyssa, and she wants to have this, you know, this over the phone apology towards me, which I did not find sincere and genuine at all, but I took it for what it's worth. And God says it's always good to be a forgiving heart. That's why I'm really, really letting go of this story and everything that transpired. And I'm forgiving anybody or anything that ever happened within this girl group because I want to be able to prosper in life and move forward with this off of my shoulders. They already have made this big old video saying we want you to come back and you know things will be the same how they were and much better and organized. And so Nikki's apologizing to me over the phone and she's, you know, Eleet, I'm really sorry for everything. And at this point I'm being apologetic as well because I was one of the reasons behind our last big old blow up through our text that caused it the first little mishap. So I played a very big part in that too. So while she's apologizing, I'm also apologizing, but telling her, you know, it's nothing like being face to face, having this heart to heart together, because it's hard for me to be able to feel that energy, looking someone in their eyes and seeing their sincerity. I was the one that she wanted to look like caused it the drama, which will catapult us into landing some type of TV show because of our drama and us doing everything that we do along with it. You know, but I'm a forgiving heart, so I was not thinking into no negative thinking like that. I'm just like, okay, she's being apologetic, so let's just lay all this out on the line now. She's like, I'm so sorry, like I never want anyone to feel like, you know, they're walking on eggshells, and I just want us to be able to have a sisterhood, and using my words, basically everything that I wanted a part of the group. It was reflecting and dawning on her. It's like, damn, she actually was, you know, willing and, you know, able and sacrificing her career and doing everything she could to be in this group. So let me try to go back to get, you know, the black girl that we need in the group. So she's apologizing and she's saying, oh, this time we're going to have contracts. Everything's going to be serious. I'm going to take it like a real business. I'm going to be a real leader of the group and own up to my actions and you know, and just try to make things right. So I'm like, oh, okay, wait. Is this the Nikki that I met a long time ago when we had a cry heart to heart together? So I'm just thinking like, okay, maybe she is cool. And mind you, she's not around Jasleen and Raquel at the moment. She's just telling me all this stuff, like, we're gonna audition for America's Got Talent, girl. Yes, girl, we're gonna do all this stuff. We're gonna be performing in Pittsburgh Pride. We're gonna, you know, just trying to give me the whole scoop and pump me up to be back in the group. You know, she'd already made this video of her and this Raquel saying she has the original members back from when we first started and went back. And so I'm just like, okay, so like, mind you, all this time, I'm still thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, Raquel's back in the group this time, so this is basically going to be going back to the gang up on Eleet thing that was happening in chapter 1. But this new Nikki just made me say, okay, you know what? Be a forgiving person. Own up to your shit. You know, be real about the situation. Tell what you did wrong, whatever, and let it go, and give it one more shot. This is your dream. Fight for it. You've been watching Star on TV. It got you motivated. It made you have so many memories. Maybe it could work out one last time. Even if you're not going to be there with Alyssa, still fight for yours. Still go for yours. Okay, so now, chapter 3. I settled and I really humbled myself. This was the last straw. If I was going to try it this last time, I was going to make sure that I did every single last thing right to make sure that I didn't bring any negativity or any drama or any problems within the girl group between me specifically and Nikki Exotika. I wanted to make sure me and her was cool. We didn't have no problems. Everything was copacetic. We would, you know, check in with each other each day after I said I'll go back into the group. Okay, now she's posting back our original pictures, what that's for, and, you know, hyping everybody up about it. Yes, we're about to do this, and, you know, we're about to be on America's Got Talent. So I'm planning around the time to meet back up with the girls, because now we have to start getting ready for rehearsals. Now, mind you, they had already been meeting each other between Jasleen and Raquel and Nikki prior to everything, because they had started their trio thing after everything was all said and done, and, you know, the whole group thing just dismembered, and we decided not to go back. Me and Alyssa, the first time she asked us. So she started doing the trio thing, and then that's when it came apart with her asking me to come back and fill the space as the black girl, because they still was missing that sound. She needed my sound to be able to fill in extra harmonies and vocals, and she just knew that I was on it and I could be able to do shit quickly. So I've written everything down in my yellow binder right here. I said, okay, now this time you're gonna do everything you know right, so she cannot be able to go online and make a mockery out of you, maybe do this and say this about you. You're gonna make sure you have your shit together. So I started writing in this journal how I wanted to approach the situation of rejoining the girl group Secret Girls. I was writing along the way of how I was seeing things being formulated. So now when I meet up with them, they already know the dance already, but they're still having little mess ups. I memorized the whole dance in like 3 days. And Jasleen and Raquel was still fucking up on steps and dance steps throughout the whole point. I don't know if it was making them irritated that I came back a brand new type of person. It was no more like sad girl, depressed, you know, all that had walked out of the window. Season 2, when, you know, we met Alyssa and all that was happening, I had a newfound courage of myself. Like, I was much stronger, I was much wiser, I was much bolder, and I was fearless. I was more fearless. It was like, you know, the first season, I was very sad and depressed from everything that I was going through in life. But, you know, I put all that behind me and I was pushing forward. And this newfound attitude was something that could not be touched. That's why in season 2, I was very much more like feisty, because I was like, oh hell no, I'm not about to just be walking on by bitches. I'm gonna make sure if girls know, like, and that's when it became a thin line between me and her, because she knew how to be able to talk to me into certain levels. opposed to the first time when it was her, Raquel, and everybody else. She would always, you know, be hella disrespectful, and I, you know, already going through depression and suffering from things. I would just be in my own little corner and, you know, crying and, you know, just to myself and just being to myself and just miserable and depressed. But I was not like that in season 2 and season 3, honey. I was very much stern. I was very much, what's up? We're going to rehearsal this day. They're up on time all the time, you know, on point. Shit, because I didn't want nobody to have shit to be able to say about me. I was tired of my name being defamated and always I get thrown under the bus and broadcasted publicly. But, you know, I wanted just to make sure my shit was on point. So, season 3, I already had this mentality. I was just like, oh, hell nah. I already know what the fuck I'm walking back into. I'm about to walk back into a feast of drama. I could already see it now. So, don't give nobody nothing to be able to say to you, especially Nikki Exotika. I could have my little differences with whatever, but I just want to make sure me and her wasn't at odds together, so it'd be just like a slap in the face. But who's to say that I was not going to end up having issues with Raquel? At this point where it's almost Nikki's birthday and we just do America's Got Talent, and you know, everything was so crazy, it went so fast, but at this point, you know, I was just really trying to make shit right this last go round, because I knew if anything hit the fan, if she was to kick me out the first time, I was just going to never ever look back, and I haven't. But so I just knew that I wanted to, you know, at least try once again to form a bond and have a better understanding, because, you know, the first season me and Raquel did have a little bit of a, you know, thing where she was feeling away towards me because she felt like I was being difficult when me and Nikki had our arguments, but I'm just standing up for myself. If you want to consider that difficult, it is what it is. But she came back, and as I'm sitting there, you know, I'm just, the whole time that every time we go to rehearsals, go for a photo shoot, whatever we had to do, I'm always just sitting on my little spot, rehearsing my music in my headphones, in my own little world, writing my music, writing my notes also on how I'm being treated, how shit is changing, if she had did any of the things that she said she was doing. I have not seen any contracts, anything. So I'm writing this stuff down this day. Nothing was never still spoken about the contract. Okay, this day we're going to be going here. We're getting ready for Pittsburgh Pride this day. So I'm having everything written down in my notes, just so you know. And so at one point they all come in the room and they're sitting there talking. And I'm like, what made you guys want me to be back a part of the group? It's like you guys already have bonded together. You already started doing your trio thing. You know, I'm just curious, what made y'all really want me to come back in the group? And Raquel goes on, and Jocelyn, they're like, girl, because like you have all the harmonies that work for our sound, and you know how to dance really good. You pick up on dance steps quickly, and I'm just trying to vibe with them or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, everything's cool, everything's great. And me and Nikki is actually getting along at this point. We're not having any drama within each other, so I'm starting to sense a lot of the change where there was so much of a drift. It's once Raquel got back to the group, and when she started having like issues with the dance steps, and she was noticing I wasn't having many mistakes and stuff like that with the dance steps, and I was learning quickly, she started making little remarks at me and just started being kind of like disrespectful and trying to have that same vibe of season 1 when I felt like I was being ganged up. But I just paid it dust the whole entire time. Newfound attitude was like nothing could defeat me, nothing could get in my way. And maybe that could, that could sometimes come off as a little intimidating, especially when you notice, when you're used to seeing someone so broken down and always miserable and sad and going through things. But this time around, I was just full of joy and full of, just trying to be peaceful. And I was still battling some issues that I was dealing with. I was at that point having a cancer scare in my life. But all along, I'm still being, showing up on time, doing everything I have to do to make sure we're in sync for Pittsburgh Pride, because we had 2 performances in Pittsburgh. So that's when the change happened. Right, mind you, I'm writing in my book, I'm in my own little zone. Me and Nikki is finally getting along, there's no drama. But now Nikki starts having the drama with Raquel and starts having little issues with Jasleen and arguments and stuff like that. We get to Pittsburgh Pride, and that's when you see the video that Nikki Exotika posted of me trying to post it in a malicious set where she obviously had the guy that was filming our every moves when we was in Pittsburgh specifically get all the negative parts and all the reactions from me and Raquel's altercation. That altercation was so petty. It was so out of anywhere. Like, I was talking to Nikki Exotika about my heel being loose, and I was like, do you think I have time to be able to run to the room and get this glue and just put a lot of it on the back because they don't sell glue over here? And Nikki was going, girl, and she was something, I can't remember exactly the words, but I know Nikki was like, no girl, we're about to be on soon. And then she said something else, and then Raquel said something very snappy. Mind you, I've been taking her little snappy comments the whole time, all this little stuff, but I just been paying it and just being this, trying to make sure I don't come across as being difficult or having altercations or being involved in any mess. But I just kind of had it at that point where I was like, I'm not about to let this girl try me like this. And it was nothing to do with Nikki Exotika. That was just her trying to be malicious and post something of me negatively just to make people not either want to work with me or ever want to be able to deal with me in a situation of a girl group stature moving forward. Or just could have just been trying to slander my character, which she always did to begin with, just to start a storyline. But that's when you see the scene when she says something, then I flash up on Raquel and I give her very much, girl, you got me fucked up, just stay in your lane, because she was basically trying to echo Nikki Exotika and the same little Mean Girls type of shit that they was doing when I first was up in a girl group to begin with. And after so long, it's like, girl, you're coming for me too much. I already didn't, just me and Nikki already talked about it. I said, okay, fuck it. If it breaks, I'm just gonna just push through. And that's how the conversation, I didn't need her little 2 cents at that moment. And she stepped in the conversation and said something. I gave her, girl, bitch, don't try it. You should have just sat there and motherfucking kept it cute and just did what you was doing. Stay to your motherfucking self. You got me fucked up. I've been catching your snappy shit already. I'm not the one, bitch. I told you. This is the new me. And that's what I made very clear when we had that conversation. I'm like, y'all not about to see the old person that y'all seen. I'm just letting y'all know straight up front. Don't do nothing disrespectful to me. I won't do nothing to you. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be very nice. I made that very clear. So after Miss Raquel kept on snapping and saying little snarky comments and they start laughing and all that, bitch, okay, now I'm going to get you together. And that's what you saw in that footage. And that was the last footage of that. But that footage was conjured up to make it seem like that was the reason why I left the group. And that was not the real reason that I left the group. Nikki calls me and starts texting me, going in. Then she started sending all these hateful messages back and forth. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm over it. I'm done. You know, I'd rather walk away peacefully. I kept this very, very upfront. I'm like, because she had so many moments where she was about to stop doing the group because she was having issues with other girls at one point through our whole process. And I always I told her, I'm like, girl, this is me coming in and this once again after everything transpired. If just so happened we break up again or anything happens between us in this group, I just want to walk away peacefully and do me and you do you, and let's not make it like how it was last time, going back and forth, you doing interviews, you posting all this negative stuff about me. I don't want it to go to that frame. But see, that's what she wanted all along. She wanted to be able to put me out as this negative person. But the end of this chapter and this whole segment, I just wanted to make it very clear. I had no intentions at all to bring any hardship or negativity or drama to that group. I just always wanted to live out my dream. I said if I ever was to be anything of an artist type of in the music industry, I would always want to start out being a part of a girl group. This was my main purpose. It was just to be a voice of reason, to make change, to inspire the generations to come. This is to all of the Secret Girls fans, all the new Secret Girls fans, all the up and coming, whatever, the ones that know me, the ones that know the other girls. This is to all of you. I only wanted to do this. I want to make this clear again. I'm not looking for any fame. I'm not looking for any pat on the back. I'm not looking for any sympathy. None of that. This is just to be able to tell my side of the story and to let it be known. And just so years to come, like I might even make a movie out of this shit. That's how, you know, much of an impact it played up on my life. Even though I had all these ups and downs and all these struggles within the girl group, it still was like one of the most best highlights of my life thus far. And, you know, now I can talk about it smiling and I could just be happy and be at peace about everything. And I just feel like a weight has been lifted off of me because I just told my whole story. So now that I told it, I feel like nobody else could twist my words. Nobody else could say their side of the story and not assume something. And if anything was to be written in anyone's books or anyone's stories, you will always make sure that this part of the story that includes me is told correctly, with respect and class. I made some mistakes along the way within the group, but at the end of the day, I learned from those mistakes. Those mistakes have done nothing but made me stronger and much wiser and much more articulate in how I go about business and just how I live in general. So with all that being said, I want to say this to potential girl group members. Whether it's girl group members in the Secret Girls or going to be in the Secret Girls or going to be in any group, any boy group or any girl group, this is a message to you. Learn from my mistakes. Everybody has their own reasons for everything. I'm not one to point the finger. I'm not one to judge. But when you go into a girl group situation, even if you're thinking about going into it, make sure you have all your shit together first. And make sure you have a strong mindset upon you, because you don't want to come bringing baggage into a circle of people that you possibly don't know and that could make you out to be something that you are not. So have your shit together, and most importantly, have things done and right. If I could go back into anything, it would be from the beginning that I started. I would not agree to anything unless it was in written and it was with my signature. Have something in written. So when somebody tries to kick you out of a situation that they say that it's a group thing and nobody could be kicked out unless it's like a group decision, have something in writing. Make sure it's all together. And know your facts. Ask questions. Ask for proof of things, because anybody can sell you any story. Because in the moment you just might be, oh my God, this is exciting, like how I was just like, oh my God, this is my dream, I don't give a damn how much I don't care if I'm, you know, I was just like ride or die. But at the end of the day, the whole time you could be getting tricked, and somebody could be telling you, oh, they're not paying for this show, but girl, we're gonna do this, but the whole time they're getting a fee. You know, have things done accordingly. Have a business plan about the situation, and you know, be respectful, be yourself, but also don't be no punk, and stand up for yourself. Never allow somebody to walk over you and treat you unfairly because of your mishaps or your downfalls or anything. You know, always stand in your truth. I come from humble beginnings. I didn't step into that group, oh no, I'm trying to be glamorous and this, that. No. I wanted people to know that I used to be homeless. I was a struggling teen, you know, dealing with selling drugs and sporting and all the shit. I wear my heart up on my sleeve, and I tell it like it is. And sometimes people are going to be deflected towards that. People are going to be deflected towards that. And you just gotta live in your truth and stand in your truth. My final message will be to Nikki. Nikki, for what it's worth, it is what it is. And although you might hear some of the music I made along the time we had our little altercations and all that, it is what it is. It's music, it's therapeutic. It's no threats, it's no beat. I'm not trying to start one. I will be releasing my music though. But take it how you want. With this message, you could take this, that I appreciate you actually believing in me when we had our moment, and I could swallow my pride and say if there's anything that I've ever done along the way that caused any rifts in our relationship, I am sorry, and I just hope that you have a prosperous life without hate. It is what it is. After this video, I would never be speaking on this situation at all. That's another reason why I made this video, because I wanted an outlet. So when anyone ever asks me about it, I could just send them a link to this video. So, what's next? I'm officially a rap singer now. Rapping before singing though. I'll be pushing a lot of my personal work, my new sound, music videos, music. I'm also going to start filming my own films, starting with this project, and just getting more into the art form of me filming and just me being a business mind and an advocate and activist for LGBT. I own a business in a virtual world called Second Life, where I film a lot of animation videos, and I'm one of the hosts that I create upon different like shapes and cash out different types of ideas, like filming for other people and stuff like that, and just to really start my own brand for Lucheonnie Productions, and just to really branch out into some other art forms that just entitle me being a solo worker in the makings of it. And of course, I've never ever forgot about my passion for advocacy and just to better help new generations to come. So I'm going to be going back to school very shortly, so I could be able to obtain my degree, so I could be able to open up the first transgender shelter in New York City. Yes, that has always been something dear to me, something that I want to have for the longevity in my life, years to come. So I'm basically going to be pushing this music thing for the next 5 years, and really seeing where that takes me, and seeing where filming and mixing and colliding and trying to start my own cartoon through animations. So I really just have like a lot of cool ideas and things that I'm going to do moving forward. This is going to be fun and nothing that is involving any negative vibes. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I appreciate anyone that is spreading the message, and now it's going to be able to open up the discussion towards why a lot of girl groups don't work.
So there you have it. My work is done. And I feel so happy and filled with joy that I was able to explain everything pertaining to my experience of being a part of a girl group. And I encourage everyone out in the world to do the same thing. Never allow someone to keep you quiet or hinder you from speaking your truth and telling your true, authentic story. So let the discussions begin. You heard about my story. Now you know that I can relate. Why does girl groups often don't work? And I encourage you to tell your story too if you have ever been a part of a girl group and even experienced some of the things that I've experienced as well. We all learn from our mistakes, but the value to this is what do we take from the experience? Do we let it hinder us from achieving our goals in life? Or do we use it to the best of our capabilities, moving forward and establishing something genuine within life? Thank you very much for watching. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank kisses.
All them bitches, they be lying. Fabrications, I'm denying. Label me as not compliant, but I was trying to keep the sisterhood. I caught some riot. I'm the motherfucking green print. You about to be a news clip. What you thought that I was weak, sis? Everybody say because of